Hello class, today we're learning how to write the equation from tables or graphs. So today's essential question, how do I write equation from tables? My learning intention, I'm learning to write equation from tables or graphs. So you've got 4 warm-up questions. Please find the slopes between the 2 points, from the point slope form, from the standard form, and from a graph. Pause the video and find those slopes now, please. Well, I do hope you tried. Remember, the formula for finding slope is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1. In other words, the difference of y over the difference of x. So this is x and this is y, x and y. For my slope, draw that big long fraction bar, -4 minus 1. Over -5 minus a -10. Okay, we know we don't minus the negative, we plus the positive. -4 minus 1 more is -5. -5 plus 10 is +5. -5 divided by +5 is -1, and our slope is -1. In the point slope form, our slope is whatever is in front of the parentheses. In this case, it's a -1/3. For the standard form, there's also a formula to use. Your slope is equal to the opposite of A divided by B. A is the coefficient of x, B is the coefficient of y. In this case, our slope is equal to the opposite of 4 divided by -8. Okay, the opposite of a negative number is a positive. 4 over 8 simplifies to 1 over 2, so our slope is 1/2. Okay, for the last one, we need to create that right triangle. We know in this case we're thinking our slope is rise divided by run. So I'm looking for where it crosses the corner of a box. It crosses here, and then as I go up, it crosses here. So as I'm creating that right triangle, right there is the top of my right triangle. Now let's count. Rise, this is a positive slope, so I don't need to worry about a symbol. We go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So I go up 4 and I go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's my slope. Goes up 4 and right 5. Okay, now today we are learning on how to write the equation of a linear equation from a graph or from a table. We're going to write it in 3 different forms. And I can warn you up front that the standard form will be the most difficult to do. So, step 1 is to always find your slope. So we need our delta x and our delta y. If I'm looking at how much it goes up by, what do I add to -1 to get to 0? That's a +1. What do I add to 3 to get to 6? That's a positive 3. So my slope will be 3 over 1, which is simply 3. For the point slope form, pick any of the numbers. Any of the points on the graph. These are all points on your graph. All you have to do is pick a pair of points on the graph. For the point slope, I think I'll use 1 and 9 because then everything's positive. I don't have to change a thing. So, y minus, this is y sub 2, which would be 9, is equal to 3 times x minus 1, and we're done. For the y-intercept form, this is our y-intercept. So, y is equal to 3x plus 6. We know that the y-intercept is where x is equal to 0. So if it shows it in the table, makes our life very easy. For the last one, which is our standard form, we know our slope is 3. So we can start out with 3, and our slope is 3, so it's going to be 3x. It could be a negative 3x too. Minus 1y is equal to c. Okay, we know that slope is the opposite of a over b, so it's the opposite of 3 over negative 1, which gives me positive 3. Now, why is it more difficult? Well, I've got to pick a number and figure out what y is. So, when x is 0, y is 6. When x is 1, y is 9. So I'm going to substitute this point in and find my c value. 3 times 1 minus 9 is equal to c. That's 3 minus 9 is equal to negative 6. Negative 6 is c. Now I will bring this back down. 3x minus y is equal to negative 6. You can use any of the points on that table to find your c value. Any questions? Okay. For the next one, what is our slope? Our change in x. What do I add to negative 3 to get to negative 1? That's a plus 2. Our change in y. What do I add to 0 to get to negative 8? Minus 8. So my slope is equal to negative 8 over 2, which gives me negative 4. For my slope-intercept form, I can use any of the points. None of them have the positive and a positive, so I'm just going to pick one. I think that I will pick 5 and negative 32. Y minus negative 32 is equal to negative 4 times x minus 5. I'm almost done. I just can't have the minus and negative. Y plus 32 is equal to negative 4 times x minus 5, and I'm done. Okay, do I know what the value is when x is equal to 0? No. But I do know that this is where it would fall. Zero is between -1 and 1. What is the number between -8 and 16? Well, there's -8 here, which means I'm looking at -4. So -8 minus 4 more is -12. Okay, that's logically thinking it out. I can also do -8 plus -16 divided by 2. That's how you find the average of two numbers. -24 divided by 2 gives me -12 also. That is where the y-intercept is, and that is our b value on the next equation. Y is equal to -4x minus 12, and we're done. If I wanted to change this into the standard form, I could add 4x to both sides. Four x minus y is equal to -12. Do you see a pattern? Do you see a pattern? Think about that, because that wouldn't, if you can see the pattern, then you don't have to do the math. Okay, so on the next one, identify whether the table is linear or not. If it is linear, remember you will have that constant rate of change. You'll have the constant slope. So we're going to look at what happens. On our x's, we go up by 2 each time. That's constant. Okay, we go down by 6 each time. So that is also constant. So everything's constant. That means we've got that constant rate of change, so we can find the slope. The slope is equal to -6 divided by 2, which is -3. Okay, in this case, it doesn't tell us which equation we have to write. If it was me, because I don't know what the y-intercept is, and if I was in a hurry, I would use the point slope form. I'd pick one of these points. I'm going to pick -3 and 10. Y minus 10 is equal to -3 times x minus -3. Y minus 10 is equal to -3 times x plus 3. And I'm done. It's also very easy to find your y-intercept. If this is 0 here, what number lies in between -4 and -2? Well, we know there's a total of -6. Half of -6 is -3. 4 plus -3 is +1. And we would have y is equal to negative 3x plus 1. Okay, for the next one, does it have a constant rate of change? Okay, if I'm looking, these all go up by 2. So that's constant. But what about the output? 10 plus 2 gives me 12. 12 plus 4 gives me 16. 16 plus 8 gives me 24. Are your outputs constant? Do they have that constant increase or decrease? No. So this is not a linear table. Okay, pause the video on your own and see if you can figure out on the next one. Well, I hope you tried. If you're looking, these are all 1, so I know that no matter where I'm at, my delta x is plus 1. Over here, I go up by plus 10, again plus 10, plus 10, plus 10. So this is my constant rate of change. My slope becomes ten over 1, which gives me 10. Okay, in this case, it's going to be very easy to write it in slope-intercept form because we know what our y-intercept is. We look where x is equal to 0, that gives us our y-intercept. So y is equal to 10x plus 5, and we're done. Could I have done it in point slope form easily too? Yeah. So I just pick a point. I think I'll pick the one on the bottom just because I haven't used the last point yet. Y minus 45 is equal to 10 times x minus 4, and you're done. So, how do you know when you're successful? When you can write equations from tables or graphs. So, writing linear equations from graphs.